Hey beauties, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the one and only Clean Beauty Podcast. Did you know that in America, cosmetics are not regulated? Companies are free to add thousands of potentially harmful ingredients that personally cause me to have health problems. Hi, I'm the creator of Lash Binder and your host, Cassandra McClure. I've worked in the beauty industry worldwide for over 10 years as a wedding and celebrity makeup artist. Now, I'm on a mission to ban 1,500 ingredients by advocating for cleaner and greener cosmetics. Join me every Monday right here for a new episode on the Clean Beauty Revolution.
Artists. We've been involved with the makeup show, IMAX, all that stuff. So we're really just trying to continue to get brand awareness and get makeup artists certified. So there is no real education that properly addresses sanitation. This is a health grade standard that we've promoted and put together. It's not just, oh, this is what I learned in beauty school, or oh, this is what I learned in cosmetology school. This curriculum was created by a microbiologist. And so it really just talks about how important, the education really talks about how important it is to not cross-contaminate and all of the bacteria and all the just nasty things that you can encounter. So my goal is to get artists trained and certified. That is our mission. We offer a companion product, which is a kit. Where we bundle everything together, but that's not our focus. We're not in the business of selling disposables. It was just a convenience. More importantly, we're about education and certification.
Awesome. And where do you do this? It's virtual?
It's online, yes.
This episode is made possible by our official sponsor, Lash Binder, the world's quickest, easiest, and safest way to apply strip lashes. If you've ever tried applying lashes, you've used your fingers, which is unsanitary and difficult, a pair of tweezers, which is dangerous, or you've tried lash extensions, which can be expensive, damaging, and time-consuming. Lash Binder is a discreet applicator that'll have your lashes on securely in under a minute anywhere in the world. Get a lash starter kit today at lashbinder.com with the code CLEANBEAUTYPODCAST for 25% off. Happy lashing!
My name is Devawn Testagrossa. I am a retired makeup artist of 25 years, former salon owner, current school owner, and of course, beauty enthusiast. I love everything beauty and makeup. I own a couple different entities, but one that I'm most passionate about is Sanitation Conversation. And that's what I get to connect with you about today, which is so exciting.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I definitely didn't really need to go to makeup school, but the one thing that I did learn when I went to LA for school is the sanitation part. So I think it is really important. And with all the artists that I've trained and worked with over the years, I feel like that's the one thing a lot of them are lacking because like nobody taught them that, especially if they have never worked at a counter. I mean, even there, you're not learning everything. So it is really important. So I'm really excited about this conversation today. For all the makeup artists or aspiring artists, I get asked all the time if I do lessons or if I have advice and training. So this is one place I will start to send the girls that ask, because I just don't have the time and this is your forte. So I'm happy to send them your way. So the certification's like around $50. Is that right?
It's $99, but we always do a promotion for any of our viewers. So like your viewers, will give them a special promotion code so that they can get the certification for $50. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you for that. So they get half off. That's great.
They do.
Okay, cool. So tell me about you and your story and how you came to do this and what, and how many, like, how long you've been doing it and how many people you have in a class at once?
Yeah. So it really started with my students. So I own a brick and mortar makeup school in the Midwest, and we're going on our 10-year anniversary. So we've been around for a while. And it was really our students that started bringing to our attention that, on set or different makeup jobs, whether beauty jobs or editorial or, whatever gig they were doing, they were just shocked and almost really appalled that not everyone had the same training. They had no idea, right? Especially when they're newbies. They just were naive to the fact that no, not everybody practices safe sanitation.
Yeah.
So they started really the movement. And the more they brought it to our attention, we said, okay, we have to do something about this. Our students are so proud that they keep the health and wellness of their client at the forefront, and they almost like want to be heard. So we started a movement that was called Sanitation Conversation. And it was really just kind of, social media posting and awareness, kind of posting crude photos about herpes and staph and all these ugly things that can happen to, either your talent or your client's face when cross-contamination and bacteria spread. But then we thought, okay, that's great. We're scaring everyone, but they still don't have a solution, and they still don't know where to get proper training. They Google it and they look on Pinterest and they go on YouTube, and there's 800 different ways that people are telling you how to practice proper sanitation, but none of them have a health grade backing. It's always like, well, this is what I learned in cosmetology school, or this is what I learned in makeup school, but it's never really what needs to be done as far as a health grade perspective. And so anyways, fast forward, we decided, okay, we need to provide a solution, and we created an online program that trains artists how to properly integrate sanitation into their application. And we consulted with a microbiologist. So it's, some of it is scary. It talks about staph and herpes and all these different cross-contamination diseases, all these things that can happen when you cross-contaminate. HIV, of course, you don't think, oh, I'm going to give somebody HIV in a makeup application. And no, it's very likely you won't. But we do talk about how HIV is spread through bloodborne pathogens and saliva. And so anyways, we created this program. We also created a kit just as a companion product to make it easier and know that, we are the people that have taken the time to really invest both our money and our time to share education that is universal and at a health grade level. So it doesn't matter to me when I hear artists say, well, I went to cosmetology school, or unless they tell me they're a nurse, chances are they don't know really what it means to have safe measures. So here we are today. We launched the product. We launched the kit, and, we're just chugging along. We have maybe about a little over 100 artists certified. We have a couple businesses certified. Of course, my students for the last 9 years, I probably have over 1,000 students that are certified as well. So it's just awesome. We're excited to partner with people like you that really feel just as passionate and, want to protect our clients. And so, yeah, here we are. We just keep moving along. We're developing more classes as we speak.
Yeah. So I think that there are two different aspects to this, because now I'm thinking, okay, I work with everyone at Beauty Counter. Like I work with a bunch of consultants that, also work with lots of makeup, even though they're not really applying it on people's faces from beginning to end. It's a lot of swatching. It's a lot of touching, feeling stuff. And then they're like packing it up and then bringing it to another location and doing it all over again. And I'm sure that there's things there that too, like I'm definitely going to take this course, because I know, okay, I spray things with alcohol, but then it gets dry. And, like, I know I should wash my brushes a certain way, but like maybe there's another step that I should be adding. And I feel maybe more lucky than, I'm not saying I'm dirty, but I feel like I've been really lucky to not like get anybody in any infection or like have any outbreaks happen. But I did go to 2 different makeup schools and I learned different things at each one. So I definitely know that all the women who haven't even gone at all or just worked at a counter, like they experience different things. So can you give us an example of like something that like the alcohol thing, or like something that, like is a common misconception when it comes to the makeup and what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing and things like that, or what you hear or what you see and you're like, oh my gosh, don't ever do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, I think some of the, and this is again why some people think they don't need the training. Well, I don't double dip mascara wands, or, you know what I mean? Some of the more obvious things, I use a doe foot for my lip glosses. But there are definitely some misconceptions. So, for example, alcohol, a lot of people have alcohol in their kit, and that's great. And they don't typically have barbicide, or we use Lucaside. And it's a hospital grade disinfectant. And so they don't understand the difference between sanitation and disinfecting. And the second you have mucous membranes or bloodborne pathogens, alcohol is not enough. So when you're talking about eyeliner inside the waterline, right? That was really popular for a while. And also,
I do it all the time.
Yeah, and still is. But you know, that is touching a mucous membrane that carries disease. You cannot stick that in alcohol and think it's sanitized. It's not, it's sanitized, but it's not disinfected. And so the spores from bacteria need to be killed, right? And the only product that can make those kind of claims that it kills bacteria are hospital grade disinfectants. So that's probably the biggest misconception, is like, oh, I have alcohol. Yep. And I spray it and I use it. And, you know, I make sure my pencil is submerged. And that's great. But again, you haven't killed any bloodborne pathogens that could be found on that. And that's essentially how staph and MRSA are spread. And I've seen, and maybe you've seen it in the headlines, we definitely use it on our social media, where talent or models have been infected with staph from their makeup artist brushes or a pencil or anything like that. And that's simply because alcohol wasn't enough. It doesn't mean that artist didn't, you know, do her best or his best to make sure everything was clean and safe. But if you don't have the right products and don't know what they're used for, that's probably the biggest misconception.
Wow. So how much is something like that? Is it very similar to alcohol, like a clear liquid that you spray?
Yeah, and we put it in our kit, but you can get I think it's like a 4-ounce bottle, and you dilute that. So essentially you can have hundreds of gallons from this 4-ounce bottle. It's maybe $3. It's not about the cost, and I don't think artists would, you know, be opposed to that. I think they just don't know, which is why we created, you know, the education. It's just, you're unaware. And if you're unaware, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yep, that's so true. But yeah, I'm thinking of the consultants and everyone that works in makeup that sells it and things like that. And, you know, they're letting everyone swatch it all over their hands or try it on, and then they're spraying it with alcohol, putting it back in the bag, using it at home themselves, bringing it back out. And
yes,
I've seen it before, and I know that.
And even the swatching, you're exactly right. That's another misconception. Like, oh yeah, I didn't put it directly on me. I just put it on my hand. Well, think about dermatitis. Think about eczema. Think about when psoriasis are cracked. Think about a scratch. You're still contaminating. Yeah. And so nothing should be taken directly from any cosmetic. It all has to be depotted. Everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not everything really can be. You think about a lot of the powders, and that's a big one, right?
Well, again, this is something we teach in the training. It really should be gently scraped off with a mascara wand. Very gently. I know, you know, when I was doing makeup, I used Busy Art, which is a very expensive palette. And the last thing I wanted to do is, you know, shatter. And so I would just gently scrape it with a mascara wand. So I just got enough sprinkles to not waste the product. But that's essential. And actually in the state of California, they mandate that in their cosmetology program, but I haven't seen it in many other states. So again, we created this education, and of course, because of our students, but the inconsistencies and the frustration with artists not really understanding. There's always this controversy about beauty blenders, right? And everyone has their own idea about how they can sanitize them. At the end of the day, beauty blenders cannot be used from client to client. I love them, but it needs to be a gift to your client or your talent. It cannot be shared.
Yeah, that's included in all my packages. And I felt like early on when people were like, oh, you just boil them or you just triple wash them. I'm like, I don't think that that's a good, I mean, sponges, even in my shower, I'm weird about using more than a couple times on myself. So why would I use that on someone else? That is just a problem waiting to happen, you know? So
it's a breeding ground for bacteria for sure.
Yeah. And, I've cut 2 artists that, like, I saw a couple beauty blenders in their kits and they were so dirty that I was like, you've been using that on other people? They're like, yeah, like, and I'm like, oh my God, like you can't use that. And they're like, well, I don't want to use anything else. And I'm like, well, then you should raise your rates or quit. Like, you're not working for me. Like, it's not happening. And, they went elsewhere. But yeah, I don't think a lot of clients know either. Like, if you're not in makeup, you think, okay, I'm trusting the artist. Her work is beautiful. That's all I really need to see. And they don't know what to look for in a kit. So what would you say to a bride to be that might be listening, that she should look out for, and maybe a certain thing? Because if you think about it, alcohol or barbicide, they're put in little jars, but they're maybe not labeled. Maybe they are, but like, should they ask the artist? Should they look for certain things? I mean, I always tell them, make sure the brushes look clean, make sure that they are scraping with a metal, thing to get like, and scraping it and using a palette on the back of their hand. Like, everyone always comments on my hand palette, and I have one, it's a palm palette I put on my hand, and everyone always says, oh, I've never seen that before. And I'm like, I really wouldn't want anyone using the back of their hand when they're touching their face and they're touching all this stuff. And they're always like, wow, it's a great idea. And I'm like, yeah, it's it's 101. Like, you should be doing something, like, there's not always a sink around for me to wash the top of my hand really well and things. So yeah, it's so what would you say to a bride to be, or anyone listening, or any models listening, that they should, comment or request that their artist should have?
Sure. So, first of all, I would say any lip glosses or anything with a wand, mascara, that wand should be cut off. And that's the really, they may say, oh, I don't use it on anybody, but that's a guarantee that has never been contaminated. And it maybe not never, but they've at least used disposables. So if their lip glosses or their eyeliners or what have you don't have the wand cut off, that's a problem. Because they may have used that wand on another client and then stuck it back in there, right? That's one. Absolutely. As far as the hand palette that you use, we use disposable wax paper palettes. And that's just because with that hand palette, that's an awesome idea, and I commend you for knowing that, early on. But you definitely need to clean that with hospital-grade disinfectant. So I would say a bride needs to make sure that they have alcohol and hospital-grade disinfectant. Because, again, you can work off that palette multiple times, right? You're not cross-contaminating as long as you keep putting that product onto the palette. But for the next customer, you want to make sure any mucus, right? Again, it's very easy to touch inside the lip or near the nose. This is all mucus, and anywhere you have mucus is bloodborne pathogens that carry disease. So I would definitely say that they have to have disposables, absolutely. And even just when they set up, like, we make sure that the artist sanitizes their area, and then they put down, a sterile paper towel, and then they sanitize each product. Because just like you said with Beauty Counter, you're traveling, bacteria is constantly growing. So all we can do is limit the amount. We are never going to totally get rid of it, right? But we can limit the amount to safe levels. And so everything should be sanitized as she sees that. And of course, yes, like you said, brushes 150%. They shouldn't be coming out of the kit dirty. They should have been cleaned before and probably even sprayed with some alcohol after.
Amazing. Well, where can people find you and this class? Like, where should people go?
Yeah, so we are at sanitationconversation.com. You can find us all over social media. Again, I will provide you with a code, so I'm not sure where you communicate with your listeners most, if it is your social platforms or your website, but we'll make sure to get you that. Once they take the training and they pass, there is a quiz in there. They are then put on a live database. And we're working really hard with the unions to get this mandated, and it'll be a requirement at some point. And you will be hosted on this live database as a certified sanitation specialist. You also get a pin. I know not everybody wants to wear it like on their shirt, but you could definitely put it on your brush belt or in your kit. You get a certification. So all these different ways, and a digital badge as well for your social media or website, but all these different ways to alert your client or your hiring manager that I have been properly trained in sanitation. So that all comes with the education and the certification. So just another layer to separate, right, who's investing this, both their time and their money, and becoming a distinguished artist. So yeah, you can find us on sanitationconversation.com and any of our social sites. If you type in, sanitation conversation, you'll find us.
I am tagging you right now on my Instagram so everyone can see that this is coming out. This is really, really great stuff. I'm definitely going to share my own story going through the program. I'll definitely document it and require that all my artists do it, because it's something that's so overlooked, and there's always problems. There's so many, with clean beauty, we have so many clients that are super, super sensitive. And a lot of times I'll ask them they're like, oh, I'll buy something and it's fine. And then I'll just keep breaking out. And I'm like, well, did you use it when you had a zit or you broke out? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, you have to sanitize even your own product. And people don't understand that. And so I think it's so important, and then it'll, up level our artistry and our team, because we'll proudly display this on our website. I'll make them all put it on their bags. I think this is so great for everybody. So thank you so much. I just tagged you that whole combo on the story on my Instagram.
Awesome.
Okay, so and where you're located in?
We're in the Midwest, and so we but this is why we did it online, so that, and we've had people inquire and say, well, can we have a trainer come to the salon? And we're trying to convert them, because I feel like beauty's a little behind with the virtual online education. And so, anybody can take it nationwide, anyone, anywhere, anytime. You can do it on your mobile phone. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's 1 hour to protect you from liability and to become a distinguished artist. To me, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. And not because I own the company, but if I had this to show my clients, I did airbrush classes and I did all these, things just to show my clients I'm investing in myself and in you and giving you a better application. This is, to me, this would have been a dream.
Yeah. So true. And you think about a bride, it's the one day, and if they happen to get a sty in their eye or something happens, there's no way anybody can fix it. So it's why take the risk with someone that isn't clean, and isn't.
And a sty, I just learned this from our microbiologist, a sty is actually staph. I always just thought, oh, it's like a pimple on your eyelid. It's actually a staph infection, which is really scary.
Yeah. I've seen models have it. And then it's funny because sometimes that'll happen. And then I'm like, now I want to be extra, extra careful. And I'm sure other artists too, if someone has something, they're like, now I really want to be extra careful. But it's you should be doing that all the time. You should you should act like everyone has stuff, because everyone does. And it's just mixing is what can make it really bad. So, well, I appreciate this conversation. It's a different take on clean beauty, and I love it because there's so many different aspects of it, but this is one that's so, so important. And I feel like even all the master classes that I've taken all over the world, the different celebrity artists that I've worked with, I don't know how many times I've actually seen a barbicide or any sort of container with the medical grade. So I think that this is just something that's not done very often, or I would know about these certain things. So this spoolie being cut off, it's you walk into a Sephora and that's how it is. That's how everybody should have it, because I do, like I said, growing up, I would take my own mascara. When I was 16 and using it on my friends, I didn't know any better. So I was using my mascara on them.
Yeah.
And, luckily nothing happened, but you just don't know. And if that's how you grow up, there's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't be ashamed because you didn't know better, because this industry is just so, it's not properly, we don't have the certifications in nurse would, right? And so because it's an art, we don't have those things. So once you know and you don't do it, then you're kind of at fault. So if you're listening, be sure to go over to Sanitation Conversation. And thank you so much for doing this and creating this course, because I didn't realize it was only an hour. Like, I should have done this a while ago.
Well, we'll send you out a full kit with education so you can experience that. We'd love to get your take on it. And it really just, takes out the headache. Like, you want to do your artistry. You want to do the things that are fun. Let us do the hard work and show you what proper sanitation is. You know what I mean? Like, everybody stay in their lane, and we're going to be the hub to tell you what really needs to be sanitized versus disinfected. I mean, let us do the hard work.
Okay. Well, thanks again for taking the time and coming on early and doing this. This was a great interview, longer than I thought. So I'm so glad that we connected. I hope we can meet in person one day. If you're ever in the Bay Area, come and say hi. And where exactly do you live?
We're in Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, cool.
We're in Michigan.
Right. Okay, cool. Well, good luck. You're so beautiful. Thank you so much. For anyone who's listening who wants to see this, make sure you go to our YouTube page. We're posting this video all over the place so you can see the full entire Zoom video here, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Clean Beauty Podcast. I'm so thankful for your support that I decided to start giving away $500 in custom curated clean beauty products each month. Do you want to win? Share why you love listening in a review on iTunes. Then screenshot that review and share it on your Instagram feed with the hashtag #ban1500. If you've already reviewed the podcast and still want to win, just repost the giveaway from the Clean Beauty Podcast Instagram feed, and you'll be re-entered to win in the next drawing. Good luck! For information on my tour schedule, upcoming events, press announcements, joining my Clean Beauty team, or to book me to speak at your next event, head over to my website, CassandraMcClure.com.